Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and we are working on the 33 3-window again. So today we are going to be working on tackling the headers and the exhaust on this car. You may remember a while back I built on one side a set of like zoomy headers that I was pretty stoked on, but there was a couple things that came up after building that. Number one, Ron that built the engine for me hit me up and said, hey, you didn't think about this, but your mock-up heads don't have the drain hose for the oil coming out of the head. One of your tubes is going to be like right in the way of that. And I was like, crap. Number two, just started thinking about the look of them and also the sound and smell with how they were coming out. I decided I don't think I was going to be happy with them. Luckily, I only made one side, and I think I wanted to make full exhaust. Also, when I made them, the tubing on them was kind of small. It's just like, I know it's what comes out of the heads is 1 5/8" is the size. It just looked kind of puny, and I was like, I just wasn't happy with it. So after thinking about it for a while, I decided I'm going to do full exhaust all the way out the back. I'm going to build headers, all stainless. I was either going to do chrome or stainless, but I think stainless will be pretty cool on this thing. And what I decided to do was hit up Nystrom Performance, and he makes a really cool set of cast aluminum header flanges for individual header flanges for flathead Ford, and they're really nice. They're all flowy, and they have like a socket design with a fillet on the back that you can weld up. I hit him up and asked him if he could make them for Ardun. He was kind enough, after I sent him some measurements and pictures, he 3D printed one, sent it out to me. It's all good. Long story short, I have stainless, cast stainless flanges that he made for me. Really stoked on these. So they're, again, this is not a paid thing. I paid for them. Just these small one-off hot rod shops and product companies are making speed parts. I like to support them. So he made these, looks great. I'm gonna be using these. So what I'm gonna do today, I got a bunch of tubing in. We're gonna be doing, these are 1.75", a little bit bigger coming out. And then we're gonna go to 2.5 is what I think I ended up, 2.5 or 2.25, I can't remember. Don't remember now. Coming out the back, I had played around with this, where the tailpipes were gonna land in the back of the car. So I'm gonna build some headers that come down, go into like a collector, go all the way out the back, and I'm gonna make exhaust today. We're not gonna hear it run yet because I still have the oiling system, but it's just one of those big projects I need to tackle. So enough of me talking. I have a lot of fabrication and welding to do, and hopefully by the end we're gonna have some kind of kick-ass exhaust. Alright, this header video is going to span over a number of days because I've been working on it piecemeal here and there in between distractions and different responsibilities. So I ended up, I was struggling a little bit on the second pipe, the first one that kind of sweeps in, and I'll show you where we're at. It's a little hard to see down in there, but you can see there's like the pipes sweeping down in, which is the look that I was going for, but from the side you really just see the straight pipes kind of coming down. And the second one, I just was kind of, with all the curves and how everything's going, you're cutting the bottom of the curve off and making like a fish mouth. You have to kind of think of how the upright piece is sitting, and I kind of was forgetting that I want to sand the bottom of that tubing to fit the larger piece of tubing. So we got 1.75 inches coming out of the manifold, or out of the header flange, into 2.5 collector. So you have to make that fish mouth match the shape of that 2.5. And I was sanding it to get it to fit really good, but I wasn't thinking that I want it to be almost straight up and down. So you could sand it and it was sitting like that. And when I started putting the second one together, it was cocked a little bit, and it fought me when I was welding it. With stainless, the more your gaps suck, or you're trying to fill a gap, the worse it's going to warp and the more it's going to move on you. So it ended up moving on me a little bit, and then I had to actually cut the tacks on the flange away and adjust that as well to get everything to sit right. So it's going pretty good. The third one I did like way quicker because now I'm kind of have a better system going. So the other thing to save me time was my my good friend Pete found these like styrofoam Ardun mock-up heads that I used to have on the car years ago, for years, and I now have them just as display with some old Ardun zoomies on the wall. So I grabbed one of them off the wall, and the nice thing with this is it has the, you know, they're all threaded, so you can actually mock everything up on it. So now that I have the first two pipes figured out, the first pipe kind of sets the angle of the collector, and the second one kind of locks it in. Now with that second one kind of tacked, I was able to just go over here to the head, and I can fit everything up on it. I could tack weld it, and I pretty much know that everything's going to fit exactly the same because this is laid out the same. So the only thing that is a little tricky is you can't like pull, you know, the manifold down real tight with this, because these inserts will pull out. But it's a good test in patience, because you have to make sure that all the bolts fit really nice and everything doesn't have crazy tension on it, because if you can't thread the bolts in by hand or it looks wrong, it's going to be the same on the engine. So that's where we're at. I'm going to make this last pipe, smooth some stuff out, and then I'm going to jump over to the other side, and you know, it'll be similar process, but it's never exactly the same. Alright, so I got the header all bolted onto the engine. It took a couple more times of pulling it on and off. While the mock-up like foam or styrofoam block is really good because it has metal inserts in it, the plastic or styrofoam still can move a little bit, and I think has a little bit of give. Who knows if it's exactly with some of the bolt holes, I don't know. But everything bolted on okay on the styrofoam block, but when I went to put it on the head, some of the bolt holes, just with the stainless, everything moves every time you weld or do like anything to it. It can move just a little bit. And the rear pipe, when I welded it, I tacked it, test fit it, was all good. Seam welded it, and I don't know, somewhere in there it just must have shifted just the tiniest bit. We're talking thousandths, but it was just enough that the edge of the bolt was kind of like touching when I was trying to start it. It wasn't, and you had to have everything like exactly right. And I don't like when you have to put manifolds on and you have to pry on them, or they're really difficult. So I tried to get everything where it started by hand, every bolt pretty good. Got it pretty good, everything tightened up really nicely. Looks good. Unfortunately, with all this work, when it's on the car, you can't even hardly see the darn thing. But when you stand up on it and you look down in, you see all the cascading pipes, which is what I'm going for. I gave it a quick polish in those last few shots, just so that it has a little bit of a shine to it. I don't know how crazy I'm going to go. Again, this car is going to be much in the vein of the Mercury, where it's going to be shiny, but I'm going to try and keep it subdued, much like it was something that was built back in the day and we just kind of polished it back up. So making the headers shiny, like we repolished them, is probably what I'm going for. Not some crazy perfect mirror finish. Just a nice shiny set of stainless headers would be good. So it just peeks out of there. So very happy with it. That's one side. I decided with this video just to kind of break it up just because of how long it's taking me to do all this. So I did this header here. Next video I'm going to do the other side and then start working on the exhaust. Decided to go with V-band clamps for the connections to make it easier to take the exhaust apart. I was back and forth on doing that, and then I started actually just Googled it, and I think V-bands were invented or used during like World War II era. The Enola Gay, I believe, actually had them on it, so it's in the right vintage of it, whether people may not have used it as commonly. So that made me feel better, at least my nerdy self. So I bought some of them, but most importantly, it's going to allow me to have an exhaust system I can easily take apart, not have to replace all the gaskets all the time. And also makes it a lot better when I'm fabricating it, because you can clamp them securely, tack everything in place, and as long as you keep it all clamped together, it's not going to move or have any leaks. So it's definitely a far superior connection. So that's one header. This is a big project. I probably have close to a week into this with everything else I bounce around doing, just because it's so difficult. Stainless is incredibly difficult to weld and keep tight tolerances if you're building tubing or headers or exhaust, because any gap you have or any inconsistency is going, the bigger it is, more heat you put into it, the more the pipe's going to move around on you. So you have to really try and be careful about that. And even when you're very careful, you're still going to have stuff move and you're going to have to adjust things. But overall, happy with how it looks. Going to move over to the other side and get that going for next video. But we are moving along on the Ardun car, which is most important. A little bit of progress, small victories. Today is a small victory for me, and hopefully next time we'll have a big victory when I get the other header done. Thanks guys for watching. Appreciate it. Catch you later.